What is up, guys? So, in this video, I'm going to break down the top 4 things that you need to do to lose belly fat. Now, I know this is a lot of guys want to do this, but they just don't know how to go about this process, or they think that it's going to be way more time consuming or more exhausting than it needs to be. So, without further delay, we're going to get right into it. The first thing that you guys need to do is get your step count up to above 8,000 steps every single day. Now, if you are walking anything below 5,000 steps every single day, then this is the top priority. Nothing else is going to make more of a difference than just taking care of this one step. And the reason I can say this with so much confidence is because for anyone who might have been following me for a while, I was doing 75 hard in the year I started November of 2021, and then it went into January of 2022. That's like it was like those 75 days. And the most surprising thing beyond like the mental benefits I got out of it was just how quickly the fat was just melting off of me. Like I was losing weight every single day. Granted, I was still working on my protein. I was still getting my workouts in the gym, but just that one thing of like those two workouts, one of them having to be outside, and I just made that 45-minute walk. I cannot tell you like how much of a difference that made. And in that period, I even did phase one for anyone who might be aware. That's like an added 30 days where you basically do the same thing at 75 hard. In those like 105 days or whatever, I easily lost like close to 15 pounds, and it made the most dramatic difference in terms of how I looked, and that gave me just the confidence to be able to coach other people on how to lose weight in a way that didn't require them to be just like sweating on the treadmill for and just exhausting themselves and not being the most sustainable approach to fat loss. So get your step count up to at least 8,000 steps, and then for every week that you are successfully hitting your step count, increase it by 500 steps. And you want to do this until you get to a point where you're walking routinely 12 to 15,000 steps. It will depend on how far along you are in terms of your fitness journey. If you only have a couple pounds to lose, then you don't need to do this for too long. But if you're someone who's like 30, 40 pounds overweight, this is something that will be the highest ROI activity that you can do. And I say that with like full confidence. If you can do this, if you can start walking, just walking, like I have a treadmill right behind me, as you guys can see, or you can just go outside, get on a treadmill, whatever the case is, just get your step count out. This will be the first domino in terms of you losing the belly fat. Like, and yes, like the concept of losing belly fat, it's a misconception because you don't lose just belly fat. Like the when fat comes off of your body, it comes off everywhere, and everyone stores body fat differently. Some guys are stored more on their back, on their thighs. Some just mostly in the abdominal area. So it really depends on your genetic makeup and how you store body fat. But that should not stop you from getting your step count in and making sure that you are putting the odds in your favor so that your body becomes a fat burning machine no matter where it really stores it. So that would be the first thing that you need to do. The second thing, and this is goes kind of hand in hand with the steps, is you want to be hitting 3 resistance workouts per week at the bare minimum. The the benefit of having a resistance workout program in your schedule is that it just has so many benefits. Just to list off some of them. One of them being that when you go in there and you're hitting the weights and you're progressing every single week, you're adding 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, to your exercises, it gives you that win where like if everything else in your life is going to crap, you know that okay, like this week I added 5 pounds to my bench. It might not be a huge thing compared to others, but you're not doing this. You're not. This isn't a competition necessarily where you're trying to compete against everyone else. You are as you are embarking on this journey to improve yourself as a man. You need those psychological wins. More like the number itself doesn't matter. Like you could be starting from the bar, like 45 pounds, and this week you added 5 pounds. That's huge for someone who's never lifted before. Just that psychological win of like I added 5 pounds, I'm stronger this week than I was before. It does something to the male psyche, and I like it's just so sad that in my community, in the Desi community, in the just the broader like South Asian and just Arab and just like this that kind of community. Like the weightlifting is looked at as like so vain and so um, superficial, and like, oh, you're just doing this because you have nothing better to do in your life. No, any man who's been on this journey, who has been through the process of working out for anything more than, I would say, 2 years, you get to a point where even taking a few days off, like missing one day out of your workout, it just feels like you just feel like you need to get your fix. Like it just becomes addictive. Not so much for the fact that you're going in and you're working out and you're sweating and all this kind of stuff. It's more so like just for the mental assurity that you're getting something done and you're feeling successful and you're feeling accomplished. So that would be the biggest thing. This will work well with the steps because as you'll be increasing your steps every week, you also want to get on a program that helps you get those wins in terms of adding more weight, adding more reps, bringing more intensity to your workouts. Like this stuff will be huge for you. In terms of a workout plan, I do have coaching slots open. So if that's something you want to consider, if you want to work on with me one-on-one, go to the first link in the description and I'll be more than happy to see how I can help you. But coming back to the video, that would be the second step that you don't want to be doing. Full body, that would be the best thing for anyone. I would say I do full body even to this day. So just don't overcomplicate it. Don't go into like 5-day bro splits, whatever. If that's something you cannot sustain, then just don't worry about it. The third thing is going to be, I use this simple framework and it has worked well for me. I don't count calories, but here's a simple framework that I want you guys to adopt, which will help you start moving in the right direction. Double your protein, cut half your carbs. I'll say that again. Double your protein, half your carbs. This thing alone will help your body composition start moving in the right direction. And this is especially important for someone who's like really overweight. If you have a ton of belly fat and you just feel like you're pregnant all the time as a man, like this will help you so much. One, protein is just way more satiating, and two, if you're doing your workouts properly, if you're hitting them consistently, you need that protein to really start help you build that muscle. Because without that, you're putting all this effort in, but you're just like eating crap and it's not going anywhere. And you might get like a nice pump in the gym, but it's not going to help you in the long term. With cutting carbs, this is where you need to exercise your own judgment. I say that as a simple heuristic, a simple framework, but the mindset behind cutting your carbs is with the understanding that a lot of people, they're just snacking on carbs all the time. Or if they're not snacking on carbs, their dishes that they have, that they either prepare themselves or their family prepares, they're just so carb heavy that just that simple rule of like, I'm just gonna half my carbs will help you cut down a lot of these unnecessary calories, and not to mention the brain fog, and not to mention just like you like your insulin sensitivity and all this kind of stuff. Like all of that will help. It will be helped by you cutting your carbs down. Now, the only caveat that I'll add to this is that you want to, as you're going about this process of cutting your carbs, is look at the timing of your carbs as well. If you're someone who's working, even a standard 9 to 5 job, and you have planned your workouts for after your work, you want to save most of your carbs for right before your workout and right after your workout. Right before, it makes sense because you want to have that quick energy boost, and then right after, you want to take advantage of just the exercise that you've done and support that insulin, just that insulin spike, because as you spike your insulin and you're also having a high protein meal at that point, it will just drive more protein to your muscle cells where it needs to go. So that's the only thing I would say. Start with cutting out your carbs, halving your carbs, and then once you've gotten to a point where you're exercising regularly, you're looking at your steps, and those are going up every single week as well, look at the timing and assess, like, if you were just spacing it out kind of equally throughout the day with that reduced amount. Now you want to focus on how can I bring it closer to my workout. And if you have a rest day, then you can space it out more equally, or just save it more so for dinner. It really just comes down to your personal preference. There isn't any hard and fast rule when it comes to carbs necessarily. As there's like tons of myths around carbs, but it's really simple. Like, you don't want to overcomplicate this. The fourth thing is going to be looking at your sleep. If your sleep is suboptimal, you're sleeping at like 1 a.m. regularly because you're staying up, you're playing your PS, or you're just watching BS on TikTok, And it's not like you're staying up because you're productive or you're trying to build up a side hustle or build a business or anything like that, and you're just staying up just for the sake of staying up, and you don't feel like going to bed because you're just like, once I wake up, it'll just be the repeat of like every single day, like my monotonous existence. You need to get that in order. The reason I say this is not to be that nagging person on the internet who's like, "Oh, you need to get your sleep in." Like, I'm sure you've heard it. You've tried to solve this in the past as well, where you're just like, "I cannot stop myself from staying up because I just need that time to myself, and I don't feel like doing anything productive." I'm saying this because like I've faced this in the past. You're in that state where you're just like, I don't want to be productive, but I don't want to go to sleep either because it just doesn't like I just don't like how my life is going at the moment. It doesn't have to be like your life is terrible or anything. We just it's a concept of like reverse nighttime procrastination. You guys can look it up, where we're in a state where we just don't like our lives so much. But getting back to the main point, the reason I say that you want to get your sleep in order is because sleep has so many benefits. Like, I cannot even, that would require a whole separate long form video just on that. But in the context of fat loss, what you have to understand is that if your sleep is suboptimal, if you're getting routinely just between 4 to 6 hours and you're not making the most of it, what will happen is that your cortisol, your stress hormone, will be spiked just because you haven't rested enough. That's just it's just a very simple concept. As cortisol goes up, as you're more stressed out, the easiest way for us to alleviate stress is to eat satisfying foods. And you don't have to be rocket science to like scientists to understand why we do that. It's a natural human response to stress. We're just like, let me eat just because I feel so stressed out. What happens when you eat too much? You put on fat, and you're also less likely to have energy for the gym, and you're not going to be as consistent with your steps because you're already feeling kind of drained and kind of out of it. So with that being said, this will be so important for you to get your sleep in. It's not so much about the quantity either. Like, I know I said, if you're getting 4 to 5 hours, like, it's not optimal. Focus on the quality. And the easiest way to do that is to set up a 30-minute non-negotiable pre-bedtime routine. This will You don't need to do anything crazy. Just bring the lights low, sit in your bed, read, meditate, pray, do whatever gets you relaxed, and just shut off technology. And that alone will help this quality of your sleep, and you'll sleep faster, you'll sleep more deeply. And the other thing that I'll add is that the hours before 12, before midnight, are every hour slept before midnight is equal to 2 hours slept after midnight. It's that important for you to be in bed early. So ideally, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever the case is, but just make sure that you're getting in sleep before midnight. And there's nothing special about midnight either. It's just the way our circadian rhythm works. But the simple rule you want to follow is I need to be in bed before midnight, even if it's at 11 p.m. That's going to be better for me as opposed to me staying up till 1 just because I was wasting time. So I hope you guys found this useful. I want to do a more tactical video because I've kind of been doing the big brother motivational get your shit together, like, get off your ass kind of thing. But I realized that I need to give you guys pointed advice that you can start using today, because if I don't do that, then I'm just being that annoying person on the internet who's just like, I don't want to listen to this guy because he's not helping me. I want to provide value, whether that's in the form of motivational stuff just to get you going, or just like educational stuff that you can actually put into your life, ASAP. That's the intention of this. And because this is going to be a fitness focused channel first and foremost, that's what I want to be prioritizing for the most part. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, like I said, if you want one-on-one coaching with me, go to the first link in the description, and I'll be more than happy to see how I can help you reach your fitness goals. But with that being said, stay on top of your goals, guys. You are so capable of achieving your maximum potential. It's all about looking at what is in your control and taking action on those things. I'll catch you on the next one.